This is textbook Tyson Dux, also known as a wrestling machine. I've been at this business for 20 years.
I am Kyle O'Reilly, and I'm the man that changes everything you thought you knew about professional wrestling.
This isn't my first time at this rodeo. This is not my first tournament. This is definitely not my first time representing Canada in a tournament style. I've dropped the ball many times. I've come in and I've expected to do great things, and I've always come short. This time around, I'm totally focused. I've trained real hard for this. I knew this was coming up, and I'm not giving up on this one. You'll have to break my arm. You will have to knock me out to take me out of this thing.
Canada is a very long and storied and proud tradition when it comes to professional wrestling. And I treat that with the utmost respect. Now, to make my name in professional wrestling, I had to leave Canada. I had to go where there was opportunity. But to return to my native soil and to prove that I am the best professional wrestler in the world and to win the World Cup. Representing Canada means everything to me.
The only reason I'm going to win this tournament is strictly because I need redemption. This has been a long time coming. I've seen a lot of failures in my career, and I have a lot of atonements to make. It's all because it's all mental attitude, and I have not stepped up when I was supposed to step up. This is my opportunity. I'm going to take it 100%, and I don't take no for an answer.
What makes me think I'm going to win this tournament? Well, frankly, when it comes to Canadian pro wrestlers, there's nobody better than me. And I'm determined to represent my country proud in the World Cup. So for my sake, and for Canada's sake, the World Cup champion, Kyle O'Reilly.
Getting ready for the last of our first round matches here in the Canadian qualifiers. It's Tyson Dux against Kyle O'Reilly.
And just like our previous match, this is one I've been looking forward to. If you're familiar with the WWE Cruiserweight Classic, you'll know Tyson Dux. And of course, if you've been watching any independent wrestling for any period of time over the last couple of years, Kyle O'Reilly is a man who you will have been unable to avoid seeing. So this one is going to be something special in my opinion.
Mike Bailey awaits the winner of this one. We will soon be down to 4, and only 2 can advance to represent Canada in the World Cup finals.
The following contest is a first round match in the World Cup Canadian qualifiers. Introducing first, from London, Ontario, weighing in at 205 pounds, he is the Smash Wrestling Champion, the Wrestling Machine, Tyson Dux!
Tyson Dux, a 20-year veteran, has that advantage over Kyle O'Reilly, and most recently had arguably the biggest year of his career, Alex, appearing in the WWE Cruiserweight Classic, where he lost in the first round to Zack Sabre Jr.
And not to mention the current Smash Wrestling Champion.
And his opponent, from Vancouver, British Columbia, weighing in at 210 pounds, he is the Violent Artist, Kyle O'Reilly!
Kyle O'Reilly, a former Ring of Honor World Champion, and he's also had a lot of success in other major independent promotions around North America, not least of which was Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, where he was the winner, Alex, of the Battle of Los Angeles in 2013. Guess who he beat in the final, by the way?
Go on.
Michael Elgin. Could see a repeat of those 2 men in one place if they end up being the 2 men who represent Canada in the finals of this World Cup.
What I find so interesting about Kyle O'Reilly is these long limbs. Just look at the length of the limbs of O'Reilly. Reminds me very much in many ways of the legendary Barry Windham. Shinsuke Nakamura's another man, long limbs, very flexible, very hard to get any kind of hold on this guy because it's like trying to put a submission on a piece of Haribo.
What?
Well, because they're long and they're stretchy and they're bendy.
And also they're not going to submit because they're just a piece of candy. You are so strange sometimes. O'Reilly with the wrist lock. Interestingly, this one started with a collar and elbow tie-up as well. I think all 4 of these qualifiers have started that way.
And look at Kyle O'Reilly there with that wrist lock, digging the head into the wrist, keeping close, digging the head in between the shoulder blades. Kyle O'Reilly knows exactly how to exert maximum energy and pressure in all these holds.
Well, one counter, look at that from O'Reilly, countering into a submission. He's got that right arm of Dux floating over, but Dux finds a way out, and now he's back to the wrist lock. O'Reilly having to try and maneuver himself to try and keep the pressure off that left wrist. Dux doing a good job here of wearing him down. Alex, I asked you this one with regard to the other half of the bracket, but now that Mike Bailey is in the second round, who do you think he would rather face next?
Well, I mean, the big question for me is what kind of condition is Mike Bailey going to be in after the contest we just saw? I think either of these two men would be equally tough competition for him in the second round.
Of course, the advantage Bailey has, goes without saying, is that there will be a few extra minutes recovery time for him, obviously, thanks to the luck of the draw.
I will tell you this as well. The big disadvantage that I think Mike Bailey would have if he's in there with Kyle O'Reilly is Kyle O'Reilly stays so close, and a lot of the striking that is used by Bailey would be a huge disadvantage if he didn't have the distance to fully extend his limbs on those strikes. Kyle O'Reilly, as I've said it, since the opening bell, he has not lost physical contact with his opponent.
That's a great point, and Dux sent to the ropes by O'Reilly. Shoulder block sends O'Reilly down, and O'Reilly is tendering that left arm, left shoulder a little bit.
And O'Reilly, all business, goes back into that corner to regroup, and look at the hole he is staring through his opponent. This guy is focused, motivated and determined to leave here, making his way into the next round of that World Cup.
He is intensity personified, is Kyle O'Reilly. We get another tie-up and uppercut now from O'Reilly. Such aggressive offense.
Even the way he took that headlock, that added twist, it's almost ripping the head off the shoulders of Tyson Dux.
Headlock can be a really effective move if it's done in the way that Kyle O'Reilly does it, but Dux sent him to the ropes. A stalemate there, neither man goes down. O'Reilly, I think, is being challenged by Dux to go for that again. And again, Dux goes nowhere, so O'Reilly going to switch, goes for the kick, and this time gets Dux down.
More of an explosion behind that shoulder block and straight there. Again, keeping it close. No wasted movement, no wasted offense, no wasted energy by Kyle O'Reilly. You spoke earlier about the previous contest between was being like watching psychological chess. Well, this one is physical chess at its finest.
Again, twisting the head on that headlock is O'Reilly as he gets sent to the ropes by Dux. Dux will go for a hip toss, but O'Reilly held onto the ropes. Clever stuff from O'Reilly, who runs over Dux, shoulder roll, and then finally headlock takedown.
O'Reilly is just all business, no finesse.
And once more twisting on Dux. Referee asks if he wants to give up. I don't think Dux will give up to that headlock, but it will certainly take away a lot of his energy, take away some of that blood flow to the brain. Dux has got O'Reilly back into the corner. No clean break there. Instead of shoulder into the abdomen. And O'Reilly, you're misjudging what Dux was doing there. Another takedown. O'Reilly counters with a head scissors, and we are back up to our feet. Action coming thick and fast.
And if you control the head, Dave, you control the body, and that's exactly what O'Reilly's been doing from the opening bell.
Talked about how Tyson Dux was in that Cruiserweight Classic, losing to Zack Sabre Jr. Don't forget, coming up in not very long at all, we have got Zack Sabre Jr. here this evening in Toronto as well. He's going to challenge Gabriel Kidd for the Internet Championship.
Plus Martin Kirby, yeah, I said it, Martin Kirby makes his Canadian debut on this very broadcast. I'm excited about that. I've got my glow sticks and everything.
Oh, please. I'm surprised they got through customs.
God, even a headlock from every position.
O'Reilly doesn't mind if it's repetitive, if it's working, he's going to stay at it. And it has been very effective, as you say, in controlling Dux for the past few minutes. Well, that'll help him out. No, it won't. Oh, my goodness. What tenacity from O'Reilly.
Well, Einstein said stupidity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So I guess using that metric, genius would be doing the same thing over and over again if it gives you successful results. And that's exactly what Co O'Reilly is doing. Should write a scientific success book. Be a bestseller.
Yeah, but you could do the foreword. That might affect sales. So O'Reilly has Dux backed into the ropes. Goes for that high roundhouse kick, but Dux gets out, and Dux definitely needs to get his breath back here because he's been in that headlock a long time. But O'Reilly not going to let it out.
I'm going to name that book "Headlock the Deadlock"
because it rhymes.
Put it in the self-help category.
Yeah, you need some self-help. O'Reilly trying to block his path into the ring post. And
smart.
Well, that might be the opening that Dux needed to get a foothold in this match as he rolls O'Reilly back into the ring. Again with the head, or he shouldn't put his head down there because that gave O'Reilly a chance to go back there. Dux was trying for a side suplex, I think, but that was not necessarily the most intelligent thing to do.
Forget ... dive, it's ... headlock in this one. And that will change things.
The knee, such a delicate part of the human anatomy, you can easily pop that ball out of the socket.
He should be Randy Orton's favourite wrestler, Kyle O'Reilly.
Kyle O'Reilly is a lot of people's favourite wrestler because he is, as we've noted, so businesslike, so intense. But Dux has done a good job now in the past couple of minutes of finding a way to take him down by focusing on that left leg.
Well, for a headlock to be successful, at least when you're standing up, you need a wide centre of gravity. You need a wide base in those legs, and that is almost impossible to achieve when one of those legs has difficulty standing.
O'Reilly is trying to get those forearms to take out Dux, but Dux had him in a very compromising position, and it was easy for him to sweep away the other leg. And again, more damage to that left leg. The knee in particular taking the brunt of this abuse. This could be trouble for O'Reilly, you know. He's in the middle of the ring. He is screaming in pain. I don't know if O'Reilly can find a way out of this if Dux can continue to cinch down on this hold.
And you mentioned earlier that match that Dux had with Zack Sabre Jr. The most, I would argue, the most watched match Dux has had. Definitely the most watched match by Dux, because he would have gone back and analysed that tape again and again. It would have been indelibly etched into his mind, and you can almost see the influence of that Zack Sabre Jr. match taking its toll right here on Kyle O'Reilly's knee. He's relentless on that.
Zack Sabre Jr. is known as the technical wizard. Well, we've seen some technical wizardry from both of these guys in this fourth of 4 first round matches in the Canadian qualifiers. And once again, you've got to look to the second round here. Even if O'Reilly can find a way back into this one and somehow beat Tyson Dux, how on earth is he going to survive against Mike Bailey if he can barely put any weight on that left leg?
And that knee pad only gives you padding at the front of the knee, and unfortunately for Kyle O'Reilly, the impact of kneecap and steel had no protection on it because it was right on the side.
O'Reilly is having to use the ropes to try and get himself back to a vertical base, and Dux is being absolutely ruthless in continuing to focus on that part of the body. Look at that kick.
Yeah, and again, straight to the side of the knee, not the front, the side. He wants to knock that kneecap straight off.
Dux, elbow and whole body weight Falling again, you're right, on the side. And O'Reilly is almost helpless here. He has been for a couple of minutes. Oh, is he? Oh, no, he's not.
Wow.
Going for Armageddon, he calls it, the cross arm breaker. He's got that left leg hooked up as well, so that gives Dux less opportunity to use his legs to escape. Into the arm breaker, it hyperextends the elbow, but Dux very quickly and very wisely gets his right ankle onto the bottom rope.
That was almost a biblical strategy of offense. Because it's Armageddon.
I was wondering why you've gone quiet. Whenever you go quiet, you're thinking of a pun.
No, it's always there. That's the scary thing.
Dux has got O'Reilly. O'Reilly lands on his feet, but look at that. Did some more damage to his own knee, and again uses the knee to attack the head of Dux, but he may have done more damage to himself than to his opponent. Both men down. Referee has a count on. This is a chance for both of these guys to get their breath back. They're definitely going to make it up before 10. In fact, O'Reilly is up already. And even when he's kicking with the right leg, just putting his body weight on the left leg is hard for him here.
In many ways, kicking with the right leg will be worse than kicking with the left. Oh, wow.
A leg sweep.
My word.
Incredible stuff from O'Reilly, who is somehow hanging in there in this one. Once again, doesn't have quite enough left in the tank to capitalise on that. He's given Dux a chance to get to his feet in the opposite corner. O'Reilly will charge at Dux. A running forearm. Now an arm breaker across the shoulder. Side suplex. Oh, a leg lock now.
Wow. Hold on. Oh, I thought it was...
Oh, Dux has countered.
Wow, he did. It was hard for me to see what was happening there. Dux was looking for something and he got it.
And again, it's that left leg. It's the left leg of Kyle O'Reilly. That is the worst possible type of counter that O'Reilly could have found himself in. In fact, they're both hurting each other, and eventually this ends up in the ropes. Once again, a very different style of match to what we've seen previously this evening, but fascinating to watch. As you say, physical chess here between O'Reilly and Dux. Dux screaming out as O'Reilly some more kicks, and using that right leg.
Straight to the elbow. And again, look at that. Oh.
They'll try for another arm breaker and gets it.
The human arm is not meant to be bent in that way, Dave, and at that speed. Just brutal.
These two have inflicted so much damage on each other. Could be easy pickings for Mike Bailey.
And O'Reilly kicking straight to that arm. Yeah, and that's a good point, Dave, because Mike Bailey is the only man who's going to benefit from this.
And the longer this goes on with every single strike, you've got to think Bailey is looking at this match on a monitor backstage, and that smile on his face must be getting wider and wider.
Yeah, they went to go head to head. But for that momentary pause, it was just enough for the adrenaline to wear down just a bit and the pain to start being felt.
For a spinning lariat did O'Reilly. Oh. There's a cutter from Dux. O'Reilly is stunned. If Dux can get his right arm over him, he can try for the cover here. He doesn't even have enough energy left to do that, though. Referee has a count on again. If he gets to 10 and neither man gets up, then this would be a tie and Bailey would advance via a bye into the finals.
And Dux trying to get the feeling back in that left arm, as is O'Reilly with that left leg. Back to back go both men, they turn around. Oh, and Dux got the best of that.
And a tight drop and a DDT. Wow. Dux rolls through as Dux going for the figure four, I think. And look at that. He's got that left leg is the one that's hyperextended.
O'Reilly needs to fight with every fibre of his being, because he is as far from those ropes as he could possibly be in this submission, and Dux gets it.
As soon as that right leg went down over the opposite ankle, that's added more and more pressure onto O'Reilly. As Dux knows that he could be moments away here Yeah, if O'Reilly doesn't tap out, he may pass out. Such must be the degree of pain he's in right now.
And O'Reilly is looking to reverse this by rolling over. And even though it will flip the pressure onto Dux, it will still keep agonising pressure on the leg of O'Reilly. And that was smart because, as I was saying, Dave, he knew that was going to be the case. So he rolled all the way through and made it to the ropes.
Once again, trying for the left leg is Dux, but this time O'Reilly sends him to the ropes. The double clothesline, both men down. This one has gone on a long time and it has been punishing. Referee once again counting. Can either man find the energy to give himself that advantage by being the first one back up? Gripping stuff here in the final first round match in Toronto. Well, O'Reilly got to his feet, but then his leg buckled. Dux, this time on the ankle. It's been the knee that's taken the brunt, but trying to double down on that damage to the left leg now is Dux by going to the ankle as well.
And this reminds me of the strategy that Antonio Inoki used against Muhammad Ali. He stayed on the ground and kicked his way back up.
Such guts from O'Reilly to keep fighting here, and with his good knee, may have knocked Dux unconscious. That
was absolutely brutal. I mean, the force of that high knee in the side of the face of Tyson Dux. I mean, he could be out, Dave. He's moving, but the lights are on. Nobody, I believe, will be home after that. Look at this.
And it's definitely O'Reilly who's going to be back up first this time. Dux doesn't know what side of the Atlantic he's on. He could be anywhere. Trying for a suplex, but once more that leg causing problems for O'Reilly as Dux tries to block the suplex successfully twice.
Oh, Grovit. Front face, look at that.
Twisting the neck in the same way those headlocks were earlier in the match.
What's he going for there, Dave?
Well, Dux is trying to grab the right leg, see if he can.
Yeah, O'Reilly's got all that forearm, and what happened?
Is he out? Well, I'm not sure if Dux may have passed out. The referee has not called for the bell.
We had the forearm across the carotid artery of Dux, so that was enough to send him unconscious, but interesting decision by both the referee and O'Reilly there to break that hold.
Yeah, why'd O'Reilly stop?
Well,
could have got this by knockout.
I said the lights are on and no one's home. That's how it looked. Oh, the reversal there. But he's got him in that sleeper, Dave.
That really could do it. Again, it's not pretty, but Dux was so close to passing out a second ago. Well, that's smart though. The leg this time. Counter from O'Reilly, who's trying to break that left arm. Almost a version of the Kimura lock he's trying for there is O'Reilly.
And fighting against Kyle O'Reilly is like trying to win a battle with a pit bull. He just keeps going for anything. Once he's locked in with those teeth, and it's not his teeth, it's his limbs, he's devastating. And look at that brainbuster.
That might do it. Lateral press. Left shoulder up, but it's the left shoulder that falls victim to the Armageddon. And he taps, he taps. Kyle O'Reilly survives a war.
Kyle O'Reilly!
Well, the Four Horsemen, Dave, were in presence, and I'm not talking about the group led by Ric Flair and Ole Anderson, because Armageddon was all it took.
Well, what a bruising encounter here between Kyle O'Reilly and Tyson Dux. And I'll ask the question again. How much does Kyle O'Reilly have left in the tank when he goes on to face Mike Bailey?
Well, I'll repeat the question from earlier. How much has Mike Bailey got left in the tank after what we saw from his first round match? I'll tell you what, the second round of the WCPW World Cup Canada leg is going to be both impressive and incredibly interesting.
Both these two to their feet. Are we going to see a handshake? I hope we will, because that was an absolutely stunning professional wrestling match. There we go. Well, Kyle O'Reilly advances at the expense of Tyson Dux. He will go on, as we said, to face Mike Bailey. That's coming up later on in the show.